What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about AMC GME as well as the broader market. So today AMC was up for 5.45% for the day. It had a high of $12.49. The average volume on AMC is around 49.25 million, but today's volume was around 58.11 million. So there is a drastic change in the everyday volume that comes in AMC. Yesterday it was around over 100 million. Now today it's around 58.11 million, which is not at all a good sign towards the stock. So the investors are actually not interested in buying the stock. Even we had a pretty solid green day. Everybody is extremely suspicious. This kind of a pump that we are having in a bear market could be very volatile as a bull trap for a lot of retail investors. So as we know today, each and every stock out there in the stock market was in green. We had a pretty solid, significant upward day in the overall broader market. There were a lot of stocks that were up quite a bit. Coinbase was almost up 16.2%, though it got beaten down way too much just after they had a miss in the earnings. Now look at Teladoc, it was up 9.45%. This stock was down almost over 45%. They had the miss on the earnings. Amazon, Apple, they all did pretty well today, and it's a very good sign for the overall broader market. But this kind of a pump that we are experiencing right now is not 100% confirmation towards the upside. This could be a bull trap, and we might get lured into buying call options, which will eventually tend to be going into the downside. Most likely a lot of retail investors are going to lose the money. Now let's come over to the GME. GME was up for 9.85% for the day. It had a high of $106.78. The average volume on GME is around 4.32 million, but today's volume was around 5.98 million. So this tells quite a lot. When we look at the today's volume, it's 5.98 million. Yesterday it was over 10 million on GameStop. So I can tell you very clearly the kind of upward momentum that we were expecting today in AMC and GME didn't happen just because there was hardly any volume coming into these two stocks. Most likely, the reason behind it is this, that GameStop was halted yesterday, and that break the momentum completely, because we know every time if a stock is halted, they're going to do that thing again. They're going to halt the stock. So there were not many investors, those who were actually thinking of buying any kind of a stock today in the GameStop, because they know they're going to halt the stock. So they might try some other day in order to increase the price of the GameStop. Now the same thing applies to AMC. The volume was less than half what it was yesterday. So that's why there were not a significant upward momentum came into GameStop as well as AMC. Now let's come over to the SPY. The SPY was up for amazingly 2.39%. These are the bear market rallies that comes in. It's very volatile, it's very vicious, and you can make a lot of money if you are actually trading the stock market. You know what you're supposed to do with options. You can make a lot of money. These kind of days that we are actually waiting for in the market, when you're going to have some sort of a significant movement coming into the stocks, and today was the day to make a lot of money. But we're not sure about the trend that is going to keep coming in. We know with this kind of a reversal came in after the first Fed meeting that we have, where they introduced the interest rate. For the first time, we had a significant rally coming into the stock market for at least 1 to 2 weeks, and the stock market kept going up straight away without any pause. I don't think so we're gonna get this kind of a pump today, but you never know. We might get a little bit more upward momentum next week as well. But I personally believe this is a bull trap. Now let's come over to the options flow for the AMC. Now I have increased the premium to max and see what exactly the whales are doing. Whales are still buying the put option. They are still betting that the AMC is going to go down from here onwards. This individual was buying a leap option. That's an $85 put option. That's way too deep in the money. So he can make a lot of money just by on the downside for the AMC. Now when I bring down the premium and see what exactly the mini whales and the retail are doing, I can tell you for sure the options flow has completely flipped from the put side to the call side quite significantly. As we can see, there were a lot of call buying that was happening today. A lot of individuals are onto the upside for the stock. They are still expecting that we might get a little bit of upward momentum into AMC. Now, when we have a look at the put to call ratios, said the put side is definitely heavier, that's 64%. The call side is just 36%. But when you look at the volume that's coming in call option, that's way too much strong. It's around 68%. And the premium is still heavier on the put side, that if you sell puts, you're going to make more money on that. But we just have to wait and see how this is going to play out. Now let's come over to the options flow for the GME. I have increased the premium to max and see what exactly the large whales are doing. Majority of them are on to the upside. Now the options flow on AMC and GME has changed completely. A lot of investors are buying towards the upside and they are betting there will be some sort of volatile move coming into AMC and GME. Just in my personal opinion and in my experience, I personally believe that we are not going to experience anything extreme volatility happening in AMC and GME just because the volume has completely died down. Secondly, they halted the GME yesterday, which indicates that they are watching this stock very particularly. They don't want any kind of a movement coming into GME as well as AMC. Now, when I bring down the premium and see what exactly the mini whales and the retail investors are doing, again, like I said, majority of them have changed this sentiment towards the stock and they are all buying call options and they are betting that the GME is going to go up from here onwards. Now, by having a look at the rest of the options flow, I can tell you very clearly there was nothing suspicious coming out of the options flow for the GME. Rest, we just have to wait and see what's going to happen. Now let's come over to the options flow for the SPY. Now I have increased the premium to max and see what exactly the whales are doing. Now this whale that came in today, now, the amount of money this individual is putting, it is just unbelievable. You cannot imagine the kind of money he's putting. He's buying a $450 put option that's going to expire in another 27 days, and he's putting $58.5 million. That is not any kind of indication towards the downside. This is something somebody has some sort of information on them that the stock market is going to go down. Well, we know we are already in the bear market. We are supposed to be going down, but the kind of upward momentum that we experienced today, I personally believe for a few more days we're going to be having some sort of a upward momentum into the SPY. Now, after looking at the price action in the aftermarket as well, the SPY is just down 0.2%, which indicates that we're going to have an upward momentum in the next week as well. Because if the market was supposed to be going down from next week's onwards, I'm pretty sure the SPY would have started going down in the aftermarket itself. That's what happened recently after the Fed meeting when we have that extreme level of aggression towards the upside in the SPY. We started going down almost over 1% in the aftermarket, which indicated that we might have further downtrend coming into the next following days. Now, the same thing applies over here as well. We don't see any kind of a significant downtrend in the SPY right now. So we might experience some sort of upward momentum from the next week onwards. Now I bring down the premium a little bit and see what exactly the whales are doing. The whales are still betting huge amount of money onto the downside and they are all betting that the SPY will keep going down from here onwards. The kind of money these individuals are putting, it is just unbelievable. This trade that came in $450 put option, this will expire in 27 days with $58.12 million and 12,000 contracts. This is just next level of money. You can literally buy a country of that kind of money. And there were a lot of other heavy whales. This was one of the bet $445 put options can expire in 34 days. He's buying 1,500 contracts and $6.78 million. There was this another $440 put option. It's going to expire in 34 days, $6.7 million, 1,637 contracts. Now, the big money is definitely onto the downside. As you can see for yourself, all the big money is onto the downside. There is hardly any big money onto the upside. But I personally believe what the market maker are doing, they are trying to make a little bit of uptrend coming into the stock market so that they can lower the retail into it, believing into this that the stock market is going to go up and then they're going to turn the back down the market to the downside. But I can tell you for sure majority of the big money is onto the downside. There is hardly any big money onto the upside, but there are still quite a bit of call option that's coming into the SPY. Now if I bring down the premium a slight bit more and see what exactly the lower mini whales are doing, majority of them again are onto the downside. And the kind of move that we have, I personally believe we're going to be going into the upside for at least a week. Maybe after that we might experience some sort of a downtrend, but we are definitely going to have some sort of a upward momentum coming into the SPY. We just have to wait and see how this is going to play out. Hope so you like my video. Please like and subscribe my channel and I'm going to see you in the next one. Cheers.